Yo, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Ducky channel. Welcome back to another episode of Tarot CelebriTEA with your boy Ducky, okay? Today we are going to read Jungkook's and Jimin's cards. I'm so sorry if I botch up the pronunciations. Listen, y'all. I like going into these readings, blind. And so all I know is that they're from BTS. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, we're just going to read some cards for Jungkook and some for Jimin, see what their general energy is like, and, what they think of one another, and some advice for them. Because, here in the Ducky channel, we're all about uplifting and introspection and working on ourselves so we could be the best version of ourselves possible, okay? Did I say possible? Possible. Okay, that's on period, baby. So remember that these videos are for entertainment purposes only. And why is that, you ask? Well, that's because the people who I'm reading cards for are not here to confirm nor deny if what I'm seeing in the cards is valid or not. So therefore, just remember to take these videos with a grain of salt. And yeah, that's it. So remember to respect and love yourself, others, and me. Because, I'm also doing these for fun. So yeah, let's get started on Jungkook and Jimin's tarot card reading. All right, so top row will be Jungkook's thoughts. What does he think about Jimin? The Three of Swords. Oh, some heartbreak. The Eight of Swords. Oh. The Page of Coins. Okay, let's get some cards on Jimin. What does Jimin think of Jungkook? The Ten of Wands in reverse. The Eight of Coins in reverse. And the Devil in reverse. Wow. Okay. I'm just being dramatic. It ain't so bad. All right. So let's start with Jungkook's cards. What does he think about Jimin? All right. So with the Three of Swords here showing up alongside with the Eight of Swords, again, the suit of swords represents our thoughts, the element of air. Jungkook thinks that Jimin has caused some like heartache, some pain, feeling stabbed in the heart, and it has caused some kind of like restrictions. So again, because I'm going in at this, blindly, not really knowing about them, it could be vice versa. It could be either that Jungkook has caused the heartache and caused Jimin to become a little bit more restricted, in maybe their thoughts and in the friendship, or it could be vice versa, that Jimin has caused the heartache and Jungkook is now kind of feeling, or like has thoughts of like feeling restrictive or like restricting their communication. Well, either way, there's some kind of communication restriction here where like one party is not as confident, or they're not as free in the way that they communicate. It seems like they kind of hold some things back. And with the Page of Coins here, there is some hope here. So Jungkook does think that Jimin does have a good amount of optimism or positivity to offer in this friendship. There is this positivity. So I'm getting the sense that Jimin is very optimistic, is very positive in this friendship. There is So there is hope here. Jungkook does think that there's hope here, but there is some, again, there's some kind of previous things that were said that caused some heartache, and now there's some constriction where they kind of don't really know. Jungkook doesn't really know, if they can communicate as freely and openly as they could before. But with this page of coins here showing up, and I'm seeing this little sun, I think that they can get back to a good point in their friendship. Now let's start with Jimin's cards as to what he thinks about Jungkook. Let's see if I could focus this better. Okay, I guess this is as great as it can get. So with the Ten of Wands here, normally the Ten of Wands represents burdens, feeling overwhelmed by other people's problems and trying to take on other people's problems as your own. But in reverse, it could be going overboard. So I'm getting the sense that Jimin thinks that Jungkook tries so much to like try and help other people and takes on other people's problems as his own, and then it causes some kind of like lack of focus. So I'm getting the sense that Jimin thinks that Jungkook tries to do too much for other people, and then it causes Jungkook not to have enough time for himself to really work on his own skills and on his own, or deal with his own problems, his own things that he needs to work on, because this came out in reverse. Now with the devil here though, there's some freedom. The devil always talks about, tied relationships or tied connections. In reverse, I'm getting the sense, that Jimin does think that there is some hope here. Again, because when I was studying this card, it also can talk about, there being light at the end of the tunnel and cutting away like ties with like toxic situations, toxic people. So Jimin thinks that Jungkook is starting to kind of cut ties with bad habits, bad people, or people that aren't the best for him, that just stress him out. Bad time management. There's some freedom here and there is some light. So it's funny that like both of these cards showed up here, and like I'm just noticing the sun here, and then this representing light at the end of the tunnel. So there is some positive thoughts here. It just seems like they are still kind of working some kinks out, and the friendship is not quite to where maybe it used to be, or as strong as it used to be, but there is hope there. So because here in the Ducky channel, we love spreading hope and focusing on what we can do to benefit ourselves and others. We're gonna give Jungkook and Jimin some advice on their situation. All right, so let's get some advice for Jungkook. Yeah, some advice. Seven of Cups. Some indecision. He needs to work on being decisive. Ooh, this card came out. Death. Ooh, some new beginnings. We love that. Okay. Queen of Coins. Yeah, it seems like Jungkook is just very caring of other people. All right, let's get an oracle card. I will have to refer to the book for these oracle cards. The Fruit of Life. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not for that one. Fruit of Life in reverse, but that one doesn't have a reverse meaning because it's... But I could still look for in the book. All right, for Jimin, we got Justice in reverse. The Four of Cups. And the King of Coins, wow, King of Coins, Queen of Coins, coincidence? I think not. Yeah, they are very good for each other, you know, as friends, of course, you know. Flower of life, look at this. Fruit of life, flower of life. What kind of coincidences? Not coincidences. All right, so let's see. Fruit of life, abundance. Yeah, there's no reverse aspect for this, of course, of course. And the language of silence. Abundance and silence. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that it was, you know, how earlier I was like, you know, because I'm going in this blindly. I don't know who said what. That was kind of like hurtful. I'm getting the sense with this, the power of silence coming up for Jimin. I'm getting the sense that Jimin is the one who kind of said some rude things to Jungkook that really hurt Jungkook, and now he's a little bit still in his feels and doesn't know how to evoke and uh, phrase or word his thoughts in this friendship because he's afraid of Jimin maybe lashing out and being a little bit hurtful again. So, all right, so let's start with, you know, let's start with Jimin. All right, so some advice for Jimin with the justice card here. He needs to work on his delivery with the power of silence here. Sometimes Jimin just needs to learn how not to voice everything. Because the justice card is ruled by Libra, and you know Libra is an air sign, and they're all about, you know, thoughts and mentalities. So Jimin needs to work on not always having to vocalize and speak out on his thoughts and opinions about other people. Sometimes just him being silent will be enough for people to know that Jimin is not on board, or Jimin does not really like something that someone else is doing. He just needs to be quiet, you know. If you got nothing nice to say, sometimes just stay quiet. This is what he needs to learn. Again, also with the Four of Cups, he also needs to be careful to not get so depressed and get in his feelings about the things that he's done wrong or said wrong. Um, it seems like Jimin sometimes like does take things harder when he does start reflecting. He gets in his own feels, and so he just needs to be mindful to not let himself get depressed about mistakes that he has made, and he just needs to learn to just be a little bit quieter at times, especially during like arguments or when he doesn't agree with something or he, you know, thinks differently, and it might cause too much of an uproar or a discussion. He just needs to learn to be quiet and stand in his power. With the King of Coins here, you know, the king is very stoic, very stern, very analytical. So he just needs to learn how to analyze situations better, analyze people better, and know that sometimes silence is, you know, deafening. Sometimes by not saying anything, it it says a lot, and it shows a lot of restraint. It shows a lot of power and strength. So this is kind of what Jimin needs to learn right now, is just not to be so harsh with himself and with others, especially when he thinks differently or thinks something differently than someone else. And when he makes mistakes, just not to get so hurt about it, not to get so down about it. Um, don't get depressed about your mistakes. We all make mistakes, Jimin, you know. I made one, what, yesterday, 2 days ago? I don't know. Probably made one today, too. Who knows? But, all right, so that's Jimin's advice. And now let's get some advice for Jungkook. So with Jungkook, we got the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups normally talks about having lots of choices. Look at this beautiful person and looking at all these flowers like, wow, look at all these flowers I get to choose from. But in reverse, some advice for Jungkook is he needs to be more decisive. He needs to stop being like, well, you know, if I go do this, what if option B was better? Or what if what if there was an option C, but instead, I went through option B. He gets too much in his feels and gets confused. So he needs to work on being more focused on which decisions to make. He needs to be more decisive. With the Queen of Coins here for Jungkook, Jungkook is very caring. He is very caring and loves to be there for others. Again, it showed up in the previous cards that Jimin thinks that Jungkook tries to take on too many of other people's problems and doesn't have time for his own to solve his own problems. So Jungkook needs to realize that he is very caring, but because he is very caring, sometimes he tries to do too much for other people because he feels bad for other people, or he knows what it feels like to feel down, to feel depressed, to feel like you can't, like no one's helping you, but he can't help everyone. And with the death card here showing up for Jungkook, he also needs to be more okay with change. He needs to be okay with making this change of being more decisive. Who do you want to give your care and attention to? You can't give it to everyone, Jungkook. So he needs to be okay with making this change, and it's going to be for the better. It's going to be beautiful new transition to fruitfulness, to abundance. He's going to feel he's going to feel like his time's going to free, or there's going to be more time freed up for him to do what he wants to do. So he'll feel more abundant and goal oriented. And that's what I'm seeing for Jungkook. He just needs to really remember that, yes, he does care a lot for people. And yes, it's okay to not always be there for everyone. You could still care for people, but not try to like solve everyone's problems. And he also needs to be okay with change, and with changing these mentalities, changing that he can't help everyone. And it's okay to say no when someone asks you for help, or even when someone doesn't ask for help, he feels maybe obligated to help them out. And then it just he doesn't have enough time for himself. So he needs to remember to be a little bit more conservative and when it comes to helping other people, and remember to also care and nurture himself. And that'll free up his time so he could be more abundant and focused on what he needs to accomplish for himself. So that's what I'm seeing for this reading. Let me know if you liked it. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this reading. Give me a thumbs down if you did not enjoy it. Feel free to give me some commentary, some constructive criticism. What do you think I can do better? Give me some suggestions on whose cards you think I should read next. So that's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. Have a great rest of your day, evening, good night. And that's it. Bye.